can you imagine the brick size is also uniform in that period where there is no connectivity in terms of the social media? You have no contacts as such, means you do not have any contacts like the way you are having right now, but still you are developing such a modernized center of the world. Then we have the terracotta figurines. As you all know that these terracotta figurines, not only in the seals but also the toys, we have found these terracotta models in abundance. Now I'll be talking about them. As you all can see that this is the stone statue, and I told you when I was teaching in the class that this statue is called the priest king statue. We discovered this man from Mohenjo-Daro, which is the biggest discovered site of Indus Valley civilization till now. I told you something about the Mohenjo-Daro when I was talking about this priest king statue, that we found a structure like assembly hall from Mohenjo-Daro, and it looks like as if Mohenjo-Daro was looking like, to the historians, that where we found this priest king, and we also found structure like assembly hall, and such things were not found in any of the settlements of Indus Valley civilization, and this thing is projecting before historians that might be Mohenjo-Daro was working as the capital. But as you all know very well that the script in which Harappans were recording their histories have not been deciphered yet. That is why all such things which I am posing before you are just the assumptions of the historians. We are not very much clear that why these were meant, why they were written, what they were writing, why these structures are so much important. But we just can look out the similarity of the time in which Harappan civilization was thriving. Yes, one way to unravel these mysteries is to compare this civilization with the counterparts. And when I say the counterparts, means all those civilizations which were also thriving at the time of Harappans, means the Mesopotamians, the Egyptians, and your Chinese. So when we try to look out the similarities between all such ancient civilizations of the world, what we found that all these civilizations were being ruled by a king-like figure. That is why we in India started projecting that such kind of uniformity cannot be maintained unless you do not have a well-developed state system. And when you talk about the state system, you will have to mention that there might be a ruling government which was maintaining not only the uniform brick size. Bricks used to be constructed in the ratio of 4:2:1. 4:2:1. This used to be the ratio of the brick size. Can you imagine the brick size is also uniform in that period, where there is no connectivity in terms of the social media? You have no contacts as such, means you do not have any contacts like the way you are having right now, but still you are developing such a modernized center of the world. So all these things amaze historians. Yes, so by looking at the uniformity, we historians are still trying to unravel this question, answer this question, that what was that factor? What was it? Who was he who was maintaining this kind of uniformity? And when we were trying to answer that question, and when we try to answer it, what becomes projected? It's that might be he is like a king, he might be a priest who is a king, he might be a group of a trader and a head merchant, because Harappans were constantly in contact with the internal traders as well as the external links. So all these things are still a mystery to us. So let's talk about the statue. As you all know, the two male statues in stone, the bearded man and a torso in red sandstone we have discovered. This bearded man is called the priest king, as you can see on the right side of this slide. He appears to be a priest. Why he's appeared to be a priest? Can you see this headband? Can you see the way he's dressing? The shawl he's taking over his shoulders? All such things are projecting that might be this man is a priest, but this man is looking like a king because of this headband, the hand, the arms, can you see it? And the way this man is dressing. It looks like that he is certainly an elite class. He belongs to the elite class. He is a priest, of course, looking like a priest. And by describing such important things like the headband, the arms, we can see that he is looking like some kind of influential personality, might be a king. And that is why historians named this person as the priest king. A shawl is draped over his left shoulder. All these things are very much important because UPSC can disturb you in statement like questions. As far as the statement like questions are concerned, UPSC can always, my dear students, disturb you. UPSC can ask or can put in the statement like a shawl is draped over his right shoulder. Is it a right statement? No, wrong. Slightly elongated eyes, as if he is in half meditation. Like the eyes, if you can see, such eyes belongs to a person who is pondering over something, or he or the person who is still in the meditation, he is thinking about something. That is why we are calling this man as a priest. Slightly elongated eyes, as if he is in half meditation, very much important. A well formed nose with a mustache, short beard and the whiskers. Wearing an armlet, which I told you, and probable other jewelries which are saying, which are describing that might be this man is belonging to a elite class. Other than this, as I told you, that Harappan civilization is a Bronze Age civilization. Why? Because they were very much familiar with the bronze casting technique. This is what I will be now clearing in the class. Was it? As you all know, that bronze statues found in Harappa were made by the technique called lost wax technique. Was it this technique? This technique was popular in almost all the sites. And how this lost wax technique works, let me clear this. First, wax figures were made, and then these wax figures were covered with the clay. The clay then was allowed to dry, and then the figure was heated in order to melt the wax. The wax was drained out through a hole in the clay, and after that a hollow clay was filled with the metal of choice, in which means you have a mold like structure. For example, you will prepare a wax structure of the figure you want to make. For example, this is the dancing girl and I want to make the structure of a dancing girl. Is it okay? So I will first of all prepare a wax structure of a dancing girl. Then I will cover this wax structure of a dancing girl with the clay. I will heat the clay, and I will also make a hole, whether in the bottom or the up of that structure, which is being covered with that of the clay. After I heat that clay, what will the wax? The wax will melt, and the wax will melt, will come out of that hole, as a result of which a hollow mold like thing made up of wax, made up of a clay will be there in your hand. And then you can fill this then you can fill this clay mold with any metal of your choice. This was the lost wax technique. After that, hollow clay was filled with the metal of choice. After cooling the metal, the clay was removed, revealing the desired metal figurine. This is how you were constructing things. Both the animals and the human figures were made this way. Examples of such technique is a bronze dancing girl, as you can see on the right side. Buffalo with the uplifted head is one thing which we also found. As far as dancing girl is concerned, this dancing girl is only 4-inch copper figurine. Long hair which is tied in a bun, as you can see. All these details are important. Why I am focusing on these details? Because UPSC is very much particular about asking these questions in art and architectural background. Her left arm is covered with bangles. As you can see, her left arm, this arm is covered with bangles. Clearly see these things and try to listen everything very, I would say, attentively, because if you are listening these things in the class, you gonna remember these things for the longer period of time, provided if you are listening it carefully and not just jotting down things in your copies. But what I always say my students, that listen to my class for half hour, listen to the details which I am talking in the class for half an hour, pause the video, try to make the notes out of what you just heard in the class. Because if you are playing, pausing, writing everything word to word which is being talked in the class, you will have no time to remember it. And then your mind will tell you that you have studied more than 2 hours. Now it is the time to learn it and I would say to consolidate it. But this should not be the technique of consolidation. Hear some words for half an hour, pause the video, try to jot down the notes, try to make your own notes, your own writing, your own words when you are trying to explain such a topic. Why I am asking you to do so? Because if you are doing such things, you will not only be perfect in the subject, but you will also be perfect in the answer writing skills. And yes, in history, it is just the trick of answer writing. Yes, just the trick of answer writing. History is not like other subjects where you have the paucity, or I would say where you have the scarcity of the material. History is having abundance of material, but only trick which the student should know how to apply it. How to apply it in such a manner so that you should not feel like that even if in 100 words I can mention some things which will cover the whole part. And if you are very well aware of that, you are perfect, my dear. This is what I want you to look. Cowrie shell necklace around the neck. Cow-like shell necklace. Cow-like shell necklace is around her neck. That is why it is called cowrie. Not only that, right hand on the hip and left hand in a traditional Indian dancing gesture. Large eyes and flat nose. This structure was found from Mohenjo-Daro. This is what you all need to remember when you are trying to study this dancing girl structure for your cultural background. Then we have the terracotta figurines. As you all know that these terracotta figurines, not only in the seals but also the toys, we have found these terracotta models in abundance. Now I will be talking about them. The terracotta images were also created, but they were less refined as compared to the stone statues. Most important terracotta images are those of Mother Goddess. Yes, Mother Goddess, the well worshipped deity of Harappan civilization. When you were studying with me, I told you that Harappans were worshipping Mother Goddess because the structure of Mother Goddess has been found in every town, in every settlement, whether it is a minor settlement or a major settlement related to Indus Valley civilization. Male figures are also found with similar features and positioning in all the figures, indicating perhaps the image of the god. Terracotta toys, as I told you, have also been found where you had the gamesmen, the discs, the birds, the animals, the rattles. All these things were being made out of terracotta, like kind of a toy for the kids who were living during those times. And yes, we also found the terracotta model of a plug, if you remember the details which I was talking about related to every site when I was discussing the Indus Valley civilization. So it becomes important for us to understand it, and to understand it in such a way not only to consolidate your prelim point of view, but also to consolidate that why these terracotta images were being constructed and what is the cultural background of that thing.